Hey, good morning and welcome to the beautiful Camp Wackpanami waterfront. I'm Frank, and I'm really kind of bummed out that this worldwide pandemic is preventing us from being together physically, but it's not going to prevent us from learning all kinds of cool watercraft, water sports, and here we are. We've got Stute and Evan, some of our esteemed Camp Wackpanami waterfront staff, and they're going to run us through the parts of a canoe. This will be useful for canoeing merit badge as well as for the Trex program, which we'll talk about later.
Alright, so we'll start off with the bow of the canoe, and the reason you can tell that this is the bow is because you'll notice the seat is further back, so that way there's actually space for people to put their feet into the canoe, so that way they have space to sit and still be able to paddle. And then we also have the deck plating here, so that way you can grab the canoe here and be able to lift it with a stable place, so that way it doesn't actually break off on you, because no one wants that to happen. And then here, looking at more the front of the canoe, you'll notice it is curved like this, and that actually doesn't make it go any faster. It makes it more stable, much like a ski going downhill. So this curve makes it so that way the canoe won't be going faster, but instead makes it so that way when you're going across waves and such, the waves won't come over the canoe, but you'll actually go over the waves. Evan, you want to go over other parts?
So we're going to start back here. This is the stern of the boat. This is where the person who sits in the back would sit, facing forwards. These are the gunnels, spelled gun walls, like on the side of a boat. That's how you can remember that. These are the thwarts. They give you a place to hold if you want to lift the boat. And then this is the tumble hole. The tumble hole is the space from here to here, the distance between the two, and it makes it easier to paddle.
All right, so just like you guys went through the parts of the boat on the boat itself, I love to show scouts this little paper model of the boat, and this allows us to really talk about how the boat moves through the water. One of the main things that we always struggle with is keeping that boat going straight. And I like to think about this thing as there's a pivot point, and the angle of that boat is around that pivot point. And you mentioned that the seats were not evenly distant from the ends. If that pivot point were turned this way, and if that were now a teeter-totter, the person that is on the end of the seat, end of the teeter-totter, has all the leverage. Well, the same thing happens in a canoe. The person in the stern has all the leverage because this person's so much further back, just away from the pivot point. So it doesn't really matter. People think about the stronger paddler needing to be in the stern. That's really not the case. You and I can go out canoeing together. I'm bigger than you are. And it's really about making the boat balanced. So we would move gear in the boat so that we're balanced. You could be in the stern, I could be in the front, in the bow. I'm just providing steady power, and you'd have all the leverage to move that boat. So let's just think about, how do we get a boat to turn? Well, there's a few simple things, right? We could speed up this side of the boat and it would turn this way. We could put a rudder in or a brake, paddle in, and slow that side down, and it would bring this way. So speeding up either side or slowing it down. And of course we want to move ahead, so slowing the boat down, not what we want to be doing until we want to stop, right? The other thing we could do is we could push water away from the boat, pushing it over, or we could pull water towards us. So that's really all the strokes give us, is the ability to speed up or move water away from the boat. So let's talk about this. When people are paddling, how can you tell beginner paddlers just looking across the lake?
The way you can tell a beginner paddler is when they're constantly switching sides.
Yep.
And they're paddling, and
Yep.
the boat will go like this, and then this.
Yeah, wiggling all over the place. Right, so you can look across the lake, and if they're not paddling at the same time, if they're just paddling, like one paddling now, the other's paddling now, the boat's doing this. Well, that's wasting a lot of energy. You don't want the boat to do this, you want the boat to do this. And if you're both paddling on the same side, the boat's doing this. That's taking a lot of energy also. So we always teach that we want people paddling on different sides of the boat and at the same time. So how do you do that? If this guy's got so much more leverage, if you just paddled exactly the same, you'd just go in big circles, right? You'd be going fast and efficiently, but you'd just be going in a big circle. So enter the various strokes we teach, right? So the key is the J stroke. If we remember, I said pushing water away from the boat would make it turn. Well, this stroke is going to turn us this way, when we turn the paddle in the J stroke, it brings us back this way. So the J stroke is the stroke that's the best tool for the person in the stern to just keep that boat right on line. They put in just enough J to keep that boat cruising along straight. You spot a spot on the horizon, you line up the bow with it, and you just go to that by your J stroke. Pretty fun. You want the model?
Yes, please.
There you go.